miseducation of our children, you better stop. Stop the miseducation of our nation, you better stop. Stop the miseducation of our children, you better stop. Stop the miseducation of our nation.
Listen to the proclamation. Every child has a right to a quality education. Well, let me hear it ring. Let me hear it ring. Let me hear the freedom bells ring. If you know what I mean. Don't track me. Don't track me. I said me. Don't track me. Track me to excel. Don't track me to fail. Track me to hope. Don't track me to track me to work. Don't track me to find. Track me to fame. Yeah, boy. If you know what I mean. If you know what I mean.
2015 will be the 50th anniversary of Bloody Sunday, the Selma Montgomery March, and the passage of the Voting Rights Bill. Well, that movement has been well documented. Even Oprah Winfrey's made a movie about it, y'all. But guess what? There's one movement that is totally unknown, except by those of us who made that movement happen.
1, 2, 3.
Selma, Alabama, 1990. Racism and education are entangled once again.
I attended Selma High, graduated in '91.
I went to Selma High starting in 9th grade, and I'd been in the public schools up through that point.
I didn't understand about tracking. We always saw it on our report cards, like you're level 1 or you're level 2, and some of the kids would laugh at other kids that might have been level 3, like, oh, you below us, we number 1s and number 2s or whatever.
I understand the power of tracking it. It truly is another system, a variation of slavery.
Come to find out, most of the black kids were level 2. Most of the white kids were level 1.
I didn't really notice because the classes, I was in the level 1 classes, and they seemed to me to be fairly integrated.
You don't even realize that it's totally different curriculums. Like you're just adding and subtracting even at 12th grade, and they're doing calculus. And you were right there in that school in the same 12th grade class. You've never even taken algebra.
In the 1960s, civil rights demonstrators eventually forced the integration of school buildings. Now the charge is that when that happened, segregation simply moved into the classrooms, disguised as something called tracking or ability grouping.
Because of such a long history of racism and white supremacy in this country, that it has gotten to the point where it's almost like breathing air. So even black people, even black children, even though they know that there's a separation, there's not this sense that, oh, there's something racist going on, because racism is so normalized in this country and in our schools that even when black children are on the low levels and they see white children are separated, it's not a shock.
Consciousness that blacks are inferior and not capable is then reinforced by making sure that they don't have the education to be capable, and then they come up with the tracking system. And so it's not just inferior schools, but now since the school's going to be integrated, they then integrate the school and put the black kids in the dumb classes and white kids in the so-called smart classes, where the classes that are in the smart, what they call the smart classes, that should be the basic education for everybody. You need a quality education. Every child needs that.
The low ability classes often wound up all or mostly black or Hispanic. The high ability classes, mostly white.
What tracking did was really create a segregated private school inside of a public system. That's what actually happened. But you can find any third level class and it's all black. And that's not by happenstance.
It was a gradual dawning process, and I think it all clicked for me when Dr. Roussel changed the procedure for how the classes were allocated into something that was actually more objective.
In Selma, the new black school superintendent discovered that children were placed in ability groups at the teacher's discretion. When he insisted on using test scores as the only criteria, the white majority school board fired him. So black students staged a sit-in last spring.
Ready to go! Ready to go!
This idea of a student organization, SMART, Student Movement Against Racial Tracking, started.
We're referring to ability grouping. putting kids who seem to have the same learning abilities together. The trouble is that ability grouping doesn't work. In fact, it has the potential to affect a child's total educational development and develop a scar which may last into adulthood.
I'm the only one left out of the crew that I ran with. 3 are serving the rest of their lives in prison. The rest are dead.
Is it possible that whether you become a successful manager or a prison inmate, a research scientist or an unskilled laborer, a professional artist or one of the chronically unemployed, is it possible that that might be determined partly by an educational sorting process which begins when you're 6 years?
I think what is most profound about tracking is the impact that it has at an early age. Right now, children are able to tell you who's smart and who's dumb, who's going to be someone, and that's at the age of kindergarten.
Yes, Ainka.
Miss Jones, I want to start on page 58 too.
Ainka, you are in the yellow group. Your page is 25.
Why?
Why? Don't ask me why. You just follow my instructions.
I like to read, Miss Jones. I've already read page 25. And besides, I can read just as good as the kids in the blue group.
Students, when you finish with your reading assignment, I have a special treat for you. Yes, Ainka.
I'm smart.
Of course you are. Nobody said you weren't.
If you think I'm smart, then why am I in the slow group? All my friends but Helen is in the slow group. We all are smart, Miss Jones. We learned to read when we were 4 and Macquarie.
Wait a minute, that's not fair. How can you judge somebody from the color of their skin and not their character? That's just not right.
Enough of these silly questions. You just have to learn to stay in your place.
I know my place, Miss Jones. We know our place. And we want to be in a smart group just like the white kids, right?
Right. Be quiet, Ainka. I don't want to be in that hard group. I'm satisfied just where I am.
I won't have this despiteful behavior. I will have to call your mother.
That's fine. My mother taught me how to stand up for my rights, just like Ruby Burgess. Back in her day, black and white kids went to different schools, and Ruby's mother said that's wrong. Ruby helped to integrate schools, and I'm going to help to integrate classrooms.
I've had enough of your bad behavior.
I'm not bad. I think it's bad to put black and white kids in different groups. That makes me feel bad and sad.
I don't mean to make you feel sad, Ainka, but you have to learn to be obedient and stay in your place.
What is my place, Miss Jones? Are you guys? How do you know my place?
I think the Selma movement is maybe didn't win the struggle, but I think it planted the seed for this next generation of youth, black, white, brown, Asian, Middle Eastern, because we're all suffering the same thing, whether it be in Egypt or in Syria or in Palestine or in Israel. People are still suffering and struggling.
Prepare my